This episode of Man of Prestige. She's beautiful, sexy. The more you're rubbing her off the wrong way, maybe because of past traumas, maybe because of other things going on in her life. So basically, that will invoke certain emotions. So you want to avoid things like, my life has been brighter since we met. Don't say things like that. You're putting her on the guard. You're starting to choke her. I know she's supposed to kind of like that, but don't say things like that. Don't say things like, I miss every second I'm not with you. See, you should this kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with saying them to a girl that's already committed to you, a girl that you're in a full-blown romantic relationships. Sure, a romantic relationship, right? Sure, but a girl you just met, avoid this kind of stuff. You're my angel. You're my life. You truly take my breath away. Like don't say any kind of gimmicky, corny pickup lines. Don't say things like, of all your beautiful curves, your smile is 5 tips, the ultimate guide to talking to a girl over text. Welcome back. So this one is a little tricky. Oh, by the way, just in case you haven't found out yet, these things are not exact science. They are more of an art than it's a science. So don't be surprised if I ever tell you need some coaching. Okay. So with that being said, I'm still going to continue to share some of my insights with you, but the key word is that they're insights. They're not end all be all rule. They're basically things for you to think about, and then also to come back with some of your insights, the questions you may have, some of the things you may disagree with. That's not completely out of ordinary, and then we'll continue to try to figure these things out together. Is that okay, gentlemen? So 5 tips. 5 tips, basically ultimate guide to talking to a girl over text. Actually, it's 7. I'm gonna actually give you 7. Okay, so the number 7 in this case is, hey beautiful. Now this serves quite a few different purposes. It's basically a shit tester. It's a way for you to measure our interest level, and we're talking about text messages. Hey beautiful cannot hurt you. If anything, to help you filter out people that don't necessarily have any kind of interest in you. So keep that in mind, that this is more so a shit tester than it is actually anything that is written in stone. You may say, hey beautiful, she may not be in that space of mind right now. She may respond to you a week later, and then that may actually pick up. The first thing you should realize that as a man in his masculine core, you should be patient. All right, number 6, after 5 to 7 text messages, send something funny. Okay, don't send something funny way too early. I said after 5 to 7 different text messages. So what are you saying in between all of those? The first one and is basically anything that's related to what she just said. If she says, hey, so what's up? What's going on with you? Just wanted to check in. Stuff like that, lightheaded. Don't overthink this process. Just like a normal friend, somebody you met for the first time. All right, number 5, don't overdo it. So anything I've said so far, don't overdo it. Like for example, the number 7, hey beautiful, don't keep saying hey beautiful. Don't like that's only valid to say it once. You say it the second time, it gets watered all the way down to almost 0, meaning you're gonna come off as desperate, and that's extremely unattractive. She doesn't get to decide if it's unattractive. It's just the way the human brain works, right? Number 4, no emotionally charged conversations. Okay, what do I mean by emotionally charged conversation? I'll give you some examples. For example, why didn't you call me? Don't say things like that. Okay, that will put a lady on the guard, and basically that will reduce attraction because you come off as needy and clingy. That's not how you want to lead with that conversation, especially if it's very earlier on in the conversation. Don't say things like you're sexy. Don't say that. Maybe this is a shocker to you. Maybe this is a surprise to you. A girl can be completely beautiful. She may not feel that way, and the more you say that she's beautiful, sexy, the more you're rubbing her off the wrong way, maybe because of past traumas, maybe because of other things going on in her life. So basically that will invoke certain emotions. So you want to avoid things like, my life has been brighter since we met. Don't say things like that. You're putting her on the guard. You're starting to choke her. I know she's supposed to kind of like that, but don't say things like that. Don't say things like, I miss every second I'm not with you. See, you should this kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with saying them to a girl that's already committed to you, a girl that you're in a full-blown romantic relationships. Sure, romantic relationship, right? Sure, but a girl you just met, avoid this kind of stuff. You're my angel. You're my life. You truly take my breath away. Like don't say any kind of gimmicky, corny pickup lines. Don't say things like, of all your beautiful curves, your smile is my favorite one. That's corny. That's too long. Keep things short and precise. A woman is attracted to the short and precise nature of the masculine energy, believe it or not. Okay. All right. So now, with that being said, number three thing, tip that I wanted to give you on this is that outside of planning a date, don't bring up relationship talks. Okay, talk about everything else, life. Okay, it's so much to talk about in life. Don't say anything with regards to how come you're not in a relationship. I don't care how old she is. If she's 50 and she's not in a relationship, she's still single, that's literally none of your business as of this moment in time. And of course, like I've said in other videos on this channel, make sure you subscribe, by the way, and make sure you hit the like buttons. As I've said in other videos, all of this different information that socially awkward type of guys try to find out in the beginning, you have to build a skill set of picking those things up. You have to build your discernment spirit and be able to pick those things up without asking direct questions. Okay, so, or saying things in a direct manner like that. I understand that can tend to be part of the trait of masculine, but also part of being masculine in this time and age is that you have to be socially and emotionally intelligent. So you have to know when something you say is going to rub somebody off the wrong way, even if that doesn't make sense to you. Okay. Number two, no expectations, no attachment to the outcome. You sent a text message, right? Hey, beautiful, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Move on with life. You should be busy about your purpose in life. You shouldn't have so much time to try to figure out how come she hasn't responded. Like literally, you should barely be remembering her name. You don't want to come off as you don't remember her name, because that shows a level of low interest and not being intentional. That's all. If you're not an intentional person, that also works against a strong masculine core. So, and that's not attractive to a typical lady. But with that being said, the point I'm making there is that don't be attached to the outcome. Because you said hey beautiful doesn't mean she feels like hey beautiful. And the only way that's actually going to do anything is if you send it once and you leave it alone. If you respond to that, that means she has some level of interest, or you invoked some kind of interest in her. That's possible. Maybe she didn't even have interest on day one, but you invoked some kind of interest in her, and then suddenly she's interested. That's very possible. She may not be interested before. She can build interest over time. She can build interest just because of that simple text message, right? And one, but not the least, right? Use the phone as a phone at some point. Okay, at some point you have to use the phone as a phone, not as a typewriter, not as a computer, right? Meaning pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm about to call you in about 2 hours. Okay, I'll give you a call in about 2 hours. If she doesn't answer that text message, that means it's okay for you to call. If she says, oh, actually I'll be in a meeting, can you call at this other time? Then you say, oh yeah, let me see if I can make that, or I'll see if I can call you at that time. If she said, no, I'm busy at that time, and she doesn't offer another option of time that you can call, that could be, it's not always, that could be a sign of low interest. So I just wanted to put that out there right there, and hopefully there's some tips for you right there. Remember, this is an art more than it's a science. It's not an exact science. Okay, so it's something you have to practice over time, and then you get better and better. Okay, now here's a bonus tip. Okay, talk to other girls. Avoid the one-itis mindset. What is one-itis? Meaning you see this one girl and you're zoned in and you say, this is the girl of my... Avoid that mindset. Typically, the kind of guy that stumble into this kind of video also end up being the lover boy, the Mr. Nice guy, and for the most time, they've been friend zoned. And you're not alone if you're in that situation, but you can absolutely build the skill set that you need to get out of friend zones. Okay?